Okay, thank you so much for joining us. My name is Amy Kernicki. I'm a regenerative health practitioner, and tonight we wanted to focus on, let me get the slides up, 1 second. Okay, does that look okay? No? Do I have to have it in percent? Okay. Can you see the presentation good? Okay, great. So tonight we are going to be talking about regeneration, nurturing a thriving planet. And just want to welcome everyone and thank you so much for taking the time to be here with us. We are so excited that you're here and curious about regeneration. And we're going to talk about the power of veganism and plant-based living in and regenerating the body. And we want to show how by taking care of yourself with regenerative health, you are taking care of the planet and how it's all intertwined, right? So you're going to hear the 3 of our health stories, our journeys using regenerative health, and we're going to share some solutions. So, your hosts are myself and Amanda Olajars and Camille Ferguson, and we are all in the regenerative health field. All had very interesting different backgrounds and come together and work in a community with regenerative health. So Amanda, do you want to talk about regenerative health? How this is connected?
Yeah, so the standard American diet or the SAD is something we've been doing for a while as a collective in this country, and it's gotten us right here. It's not working. How do we know? Our bodies are living full of disease, illness, and chronic pain. Our environment, it's burning up, it's flooding, it's toxic. Animals are becoming endangered, extinct, and dying in masses for what seems like no reason at all. It kind of makes the future look a little scary and hopeless. However, the good news is our Earth, our planet, our bodies are living organisms and they're completely capable of regeneration. We just cannot heal in the same environment that got us sick. So we're going to help you see how everything is intertwined or interconnected so you get more data, so your future self has better choices for not just you, but your kids and the future of the planet. Do you want to go to the next slide, Amy? So awareness is half the battle. Once you know better, you're capable of choosing better. And most of this stuff is fairly simple too, but simple doesn't always mean easy. It's very, very well worth reminding yourself that your actions, even when you think that you're small, can have a huge impact on the world around you. It's the butterfly effect. So even when you think you're doing a silly, small little thing, your impact reaches far greater. So when we choose plant-based or vegan lifestyles, we're not just choosing health for ourselves, we're choosing regeneration for the environment, we're creating sustainability, maintaining balance, and collaborating with people that we don't even know, and some that we do towards a bigger and better goal, and that's thriving. We've strayed so far away from normal that we often forget that we are supposed to be stress-free. Our hormones are supposed to be balanced. We're supposed to be waking up without an alarm. We're supposed to be living without pain-free. And most of all, we're supposed to be happy. But when we look at the world around us, it's no wonder that we've strayed from the beauty of the past to an interesting present. So we're going to take a look now at the detrimental effects of modern agriculture and what it's done to our bodies and our environments. So Amy, you want to take it away?
Yeah, thank you. So, two things that are huge that affect our bodies and environment is the when the food is grown in dead or toxic soil, it has effects on both us and the earth. So, one is nutrient deficiency. Uh, it lacks our soils. There's only 1% of our soils that are nutrient dense anymore. So, that's pretty scary. So, we are all walking around eating food that doesn't actually have the nutrients that we need. So, if the soil is lacking, the food is lacking. And also contamination and toxicity. So everything that's going into the dirt that isn't good is also going into the plants who are absorbing it from the soil, and then we are eating it. So consuming food grown in toxic soil can lead to exposure of harmful substances negatively affecting our health, heavy metals, microplastics, and it's in the earth or air and water at this point too. So it's not even just the soil. So I want to share a little bit about my background and story. When I found regenerative health, I was living in Joliet. I didn't know anything about eating organic. I thought that that was a luxury. I was working in graphic design and marketing, and I was really sick. My body was very toxic, and it had been getting there for since high school, really. I started with depression, and then I had weird anxiety and aches and pains that no one could really diagnose or explain. And I finally had a diagnosis of fibromyalgia, and I thought that that was great. But then I wasn't advocating for myself, and I was really just listening to Western medicine, and I was put on probably about a dozen pharmaceutical drugs to combat the symptoms. And I was told that there was no cure, that that was the how I had to live. And I just got to a point where I wasn't going to accept that anymore. And I started looking for other routes and holistic ways of living. So, what I found was regenerative health and regenerative superfoods. And what regenerative health is getting to the root cause and regenerating. Like we can heal anything. We can regenerate. So what I did was detoxify. A big thing that I didn't know about eating organic was that when we aren't eating organic, we're eating glyphosate, right? So I detoxified all this inflammation, and I really turned my pain around from a 10 to like I had like a 5 or 6. I'd already been off a lot of the pharmaceuticals with medical cannabis, but I like just wasn't there yet. And it was the regenerative detox that really eliminated the toxins and inflammation and helped me thrive. So I didn't need any kind of other supplements and uh, cannabis, CBD, all of that really was gone. And I was left with like a pain level of 0 to 1. And it was just using regeneratively grown superfoods and really changing my diet and looking at the order of myself, of order of eating. So it's been a really amazing journey. So Camille, would you like to share the next one? I'll pass it to you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Amy and Amanda, for having me tonight as a guest. I'm really honored to be here. And my name is Camille Ferguson. I'm actually in the Chicago area as well. I live in the Lakeview area. And I wanted to just elaborate a little bit more on what you said, Amy, about the environmental impact that soil imbalance and soil toxicity has on our health. And you had mentioned the word glyphosate. So I wanted to elaborate a little bit more on what glyphosate is and how it impacts the environment, how it impacts our soil health and our health, and how this impacted the trajectory of my life. About 4 years ago, I started learning about this. So glyphosate is a water-soluble toxin. It's an antibiotic, and it's actually the active ingredient in Roundup. Roundup is manufactured by the large agricultural pharmaceutical company called Bayer Monsanto, and it was put into the environment, use in the environment in the early 80s. Glyphosate is a byproduct of the petroleum products from World War II. And how they discovered glyphosate was basically during an experiment, they were using this byproduct, this petroleum byproduct, to clean out heavy machinery from the war. And what had happened is it sludged onto the ground and it killed all of the weeds surrounding the work site. And so they thought, well, gosh, we have something here. Like, this might be something that we could use to help agriculture. And that's when the Green Revolution came in. And this herbicide and this antibiotic was patented to use as a weed killer. And there wasn't a whole lot of research done behind it. And they found that by creating GMO seeds that would grow in the soil after it was sprayed with this Roundup, they could increase the crops and feed more people, create more feed for livestock, but they didn't know the repercussions that it would have on human health. Now, when you go back and do research on glyphosate, they claim that it is not toxic to human health, that it doesn't have an impact, because it really harms the plant. It blocks the amino acid uptake in the plant and prevents the proper amino acids going up into those plants. So that's called the shikimate pathway. And humans don't have a shikimate pathway, so that's kind of their loophole in this whole scheme of spraying this toxic herbicide. But what it does to the environment is it kills the microbiome of the soil. One spray kills 50% of the earthworms. So it's disrupting our ecosystem, and it's harming all different kinds of organisms because it is a water soluble toxin. It goes into the groundwater, then it's evaporated into the rainwater. And even in organic produce, it can be found, even if they're not using it to spray it on organic produce. And it does get transferred into the plants. And the problem with glyphosate is because it kills the soil, and it becomes cellular in the plant, you cannot wash it off or cook it out of the grains, the vegetables, whatever is grown with it. You cannot cook it out or wash it off. And just like it harms the microbiome of the soil and kills off the essential nutrients and the vitality and the diversity in the soil, it does the same thing to our gut. And our gut has this beautiful microbiome. It's a very diverse ecosystem, just the same as our soils. But when we're killing off the healthy bacteria in our gut, we end up with a slew of other problems. So one exposure to glyphosate, within 20 seconds, it breaks open the tight junctions within our gut, and it causes leaky gut. And actually, you can find a lot of information out there. We've got some great resources, but glyphosate has been linked to all modern disease. And that's why I want to talk a little bit more about my story. I'm also a regenerative health practitioner, and I came to this work with my own story of suffering, and I had a health crisis. So during my third pregnancy, about 6 years ago, I found out some devastating news that our baby had all kinds of chromosome abnormalities, and that he probably was not going to make it. And that got transferred as trauma in my body. And I started experiencing excruciating pain. I carried our son until about 32 weeks, when we found out that he passed as was fetal demise. And so he was born stillborn. And I'm a woman of faith, and, just really pressed into that and went through that journey of healing after we lost our son. And I didn't know why. The doctors didn't know why this happened. They said it's just a rare thing. Like, it happens to some people. It doesn't have anything to do with your age. It doesn't have anything to do with nationality, nothing. So after this experience, I found myself in extreme chronic pain, and I lived in chronic pain for on and off for about 4 years. I resorted to self-medication with ibuprofen. I was taking about 2,000 milligrams every day. And then I actually quickly conceived another child, and he's 5 now. Awesome little healthy guy. But it was when I was really praying for a solution to get out of this chronic pain that a friend introduced these regeneratively grown superfoods into my life. And I found that within 2 days, my chronic pain was gone. And so I really started to pay attention what was going on and why this had happened. And it was during my schooling for regenerative health that I learned, because glyphosate blocks that amino acid uptake called the shikimate pathway in our plants. It also causes our body's DNA to misfire. And so my son had an extra chromosome. I didn't have the proper amino acids to build a healthy baby. And, you know, I'm glad that I know about this now, because it puts me in a position to educate others about it. And I've been using these regeneratively grown superfoods for the past 3 years. That's helped me to change the chemistry in my body as well. And, you know, the chemistry of our body is very important. We've got 2 sides of chemistry. We have an alkaline side of chemistry, or a base side of chemistry, or an acid side of chemistry. And so these superfoods help your body get into this alkaline state, which is very oxygenating, very life-giving. And it is different than what we've been taught in the standard American diet, or the classic food pyramid. And like what Amanda was saying, when we can get our bodies into the proper environment, our body is capable of taking care of itself. I mean, we're perfectly and wonderfully made, and our body is designed to heal itself, but it just needs the proper tools. So I'm just really thankful that I found this information, and it's taken me down a path to help other people. And by choosing a plant-based lifestyle, I've learned that I'm not contributing to the issue of glyphosate as much, because glyphosate is used in all of our animal feed. It's a big portion of the environmental global warming crisis that we're experiencing, because when the soils that are sprayed with glyphosate, they have to keep growing that crop. They don't use traditional farming practices of crop rotation and using animals to help renew and restore the soil. And so that tilling that happens over and over and over again, it emits carbon gases into the environment. And sad fact is that we actually only have about 60 crops left because of this practice of soil degradation. There's a great movie that I love to recommend to people. It's called Kiss the Ground, and that can be viewed on Netflix. It's a really great documentary by Dr. Zach Bush, and he's really put his life's work into educating people about the issue of glyphosate and the solutions that we can use to help reverse global warming, just by making an impact in what we choose to eat and where we choose to shop, and supporting regenerative agriculture. And that's what I love about these organic superfoods, is that the farming practices are right in alignment with regenerative agriculture. And just one last thing that I want to say about that is these organic superfoods actually help to remove glyphosate from the human body and help to repair and restore the gut and get those toxic herbicides out. So it's really exciting information. I love sharing solutions, and I just want to thank you ladies for having me here tonight. I want to go ahead and pass it back to Amanda to share a little bit more.
Oh, wow, yes. So my story is pretty cool. The picture of me down on the bottom left-hand side in the sunglasses, Like, I had the worst mentality, body image of my life. However, I was vegetarian, so I always considered myself to be a little bit healthier than the normal person, normal carnivore, I should say. But I didn't care what I was doing, who I was hanging out with, where I bought my food, or where my food came from. It was just like woo woo. It took everything for me to get out of bed each and every single day, not only because of depression, but because I could not fall asleep if my life depended on it back then. I was a hardcore insomniac. My hormones were out of whack, also causing my menstruation to just be terrible. Then you add chronic low back pain on top of it, and debilitating migraines. Like, they were just the worst. Both of those things led me to call off work more than I can even tell you. It just seemed like my life was overall a complete disaster. And I also feel like I had tried everything under the sun. Um, that's when I met Amy, and she introduced me to like regeneration, regenerative superfoods, and my life took a complete toll. In 3 days, I'm calling her up like, Amy, there's something wrong with me. Like, what just happened? I have all of this energy. I'm falling asleep at a normal bedtime. I'm waking up hours before my alarm clock, but wanting to be up and start the day. My body is moving so gracefully. Like, there's something wrong with me. And she's like, no, dude, no, your body's just detoxing and regenerating at the same time. This is how you're supposed to feel. And I'm like, dang, this is really cool. I just strayed so far away from normal. Like, this is how I'm supposed to be on the daily. This is absolutely amazing. But I did feel like I was part of that aging process. Like, you get worse with aging. That story, like, wait till you get my age. And now I'm like, wait till you get my age. Like, this is the best that I've ever been. And this is also the oldest that I am, which is super cool. So this is also like something I just look forward to every single day, because I can tell from my insides, my body loves it. I have experimented with, foods that are not regenerative. And although they might sometimes taste really, really good, I can tell the difference in the after effects of my body. So this regenerative portion of it is something I look forward to on so many different levels. And it's also one of the ways that I maintain like a healthy weight and all of this energy. It's so childlike. It's wonderful. Amy, you want to share?
Yeah, thank you so much, Amanda. I love your story. It's super inspiring. And thank you so much, Camille, as well. All of us have had amazing transformations. Um, so basically, when we are eating foods grown in regenerative soil, we have increased vitality and well-being, right? Superfoods will provide the essential nutrients that support overall vitality. They're going to boost your immune function and promote cellular health and enhance your well-being. Um, it's going to alleviate chronic pain. And that's exactly what happened to me. I went from being in pain every single day to now thriving and being an athlete, doing things that I just never thought that I could ever do. Um, so eating an anti-inflammatory diet will remove chronic pain. And usually, most disease comes from inflammation. So it's going to also enhance your energy levels. Um, it's going to optimize digestive health. Superfoods have high dietary fiber that promote regular bowel movements and a healthy gut microbiome. Um, when you have that, you have better immune function, you have the gut mind connection. So, having a healthy gut, you have a healthy mind. That's where my anxiety and depression have diminished. And you're going to absorb better. Oh, like Camille was saying about glyphosate, when you're consuming pesticides that are basically an antibiotic every day, it kind of covers that gut microbiome and it doesn't let you absorb. So when you detoxify, you create that healthy gut flora that's able to actually absorb foods. So it's amazing. And it's also going to help weight management. I lost weight and now I've gained it back. So it helps your body like come into homeostasis. You will lose that unhealthy tissue and gain healthy muscle. So, do you want to finish up with us, Amanda?
Yeah, so now it's actually time that we walk the talk and do the choosing of the better. Like, I absolutely love this picture just because it is just so huge. Each and every single day, we get a choice of, actually, we get multiple choices. Every time that we're hungry, we can either choose to eat to live or live to eat. One of these things is going to provide sustainability, not just for us, our bodies, but make us flourish and thrive, our families as well, and our environment. One of these is regenerative, and the other one is the main cause of disease and illness. So it's really easy to want to go back to where it is that we came from, the standard American diet. It tastes delicious, it looks delicious, but just because it looks good doesn't mean that it's good for us, right? That's why we take our makeup off every night if you're still wearing makeup. We need to be clearing ourselves, clearing our insides, making mindful choices. One of these things was also like built in a factory. It's been mass produced, and the other one has been grown from the earth. One of these is going to regenerate you from the inside. The other one is going to just help make you want to be a couch potato. And you get a chance every single day, every single bite. And even if you're in the middle of a bite, I've done this so many times because I've gone off the bandwagon. If you're in the middle of the bite, it's okay to put it down. I have a huge thing with not wasting food, and I've realized it's okay to waste like the sweets or whatever it is that I could be cheating with or have cheated with in the past. It's not okay to waste the stuff that is actually good for me. That's the stuff that I actually need in my body. That's the stuff that's going to be sustainable for my health, my family's health, and my future planet. So that's super cool. This is just another way to rewrite our story, because at one point in time, I was the person that didn't care. And now I am the person that care. I went from being a mindless millennial to being a mindful adult. So that's super cool, super empowering, and something that I just absolutely love because, yeah, why not save the planet while I'm trying to save myself? All right, I think that's about it, right, Amy? Yes, so thank you all for your time, your patience, your curiosity, and your desire to change. Whoever brought you on this call, if you're interested in more, because we do all have this amazing thing to help detox your system of glyphosate and to help regenerate you from the inside out. It's grown in regenerative soil. It is just completely fabulous, and I can't imagine life without it. Go ahead and reach out to whoever brought you upon this call, and we'll get you some more information.